Hi, welcome to Gear Garage. My name is Zach. This is the show I do about whitewater kayaking, rafting, sup, camping, just kind of stuff I like to do. I'm a whitewater guide and avid boater, so I like to talk about the gear I like to use. And last time we talked about this stove. This is the MSR reactor stove. It's a great little stove. It's designed to melt snow and boil water fast. So if you're in the backcountry doing a short 2 to 3 day trip, this is a really nice stove, and you can watch the last episode to learn more about it. You know, the one thing it doesn't do is cook. It basically boils water, and it's great for a shorter trip. But if you're doing something longer, like an expedition, you're traveling internationally, or you're using it a lot and want to cook different foods, a little bit better stove for a variety of things is the MSR Dragonfly. Now, the Dragonfly is really similar to the Whisper Light. The Whisper Light's a classic MSR stove. It's Noel's favorite stove. This is just like a slightly better version of the Whisper Light. A little more expensive, but definitely I think superior, especially if you're doing a lot of cooking. And so unlike the reactor, it has a lot of parts. And so you gotta kind of learn how to use it. It's not just a simple thing. So this is the main stove right here. I've made my own little canvas bags because I like a little more durable bag. And you basically kind of undo it like this. And it comes with a little base. There it is. It comes with a little base to put it on. This will kind of protect the ground from some of the fire you might have. And you need to use a separate canister of gas. So the reactor and a lot of other stoves use these little isobutane propane things. This is pre-pressurized gas. On this kind of stove, you buy gas and you put it in a bottle. And which is actually pretty good if you're traveling internationally. You can't find these things, so you can just go to somewhere, maybe find white gas internationally. But this also takes unleaded fuel, it takes diesel fuel, it takes kerosene, it even takes jet fuel. So you can put any of those things in here when you're traveling internationally. The thing is, it's not already pressurized, so you have to pressurize this gas on your own. So I'm gonna pull the lid off. Here, it's a safety lid, and put on this little valve thing that comes with the stove. I have white gas in here right now. White gas is incredibly flammable stuff. So it's not something I recommend playing with. I'm actually shocked they sell it at stores. It's just really dangerous stuff. So please be careful when you're working with white gas. And also, you want to inspect this stuff. If anything here is leaking at all, you want to make sure that you stop and you fix it. And I can show you a little bit about fixing it here in a minute. And you have to basically pressurize the stove on your own. So the first thing you want to do is make sure the stove is closed. And you want to give this thing, depending on how much pressure is in there now, how much fuel is in there, you want to give it a good 15, 20, 25, maybe even 30 pumps. And the more you use it, the more you kind of learn how many pumps it needs. You learn about the pressure. I kind of have a general feel for it. I'm not really counting. I know about when it's in there. Cool. And then once that's done, you have to make this thing work, and I don't understand the physics behind it, but you have to heat up the element. So what we're going to do is open the valve, put a little bit of fuel in there and light it, and what that does is heats up something in there, the valve or the element, and basically turns the liquid fuel into gas a lot more efficiently. If you just turn the fuel on and light it, it's going to act funny. So to do that, you open this valve first. And then I see with the Dragonfly is it has this second valve. And if I just open it a little bit, I'm going to see some fuel pour out. There it is. So there's a little bit of fuel there in the cup. And this is the same with basically all these white gas stoves. You light them. And I actually like having these long lighters with me. I don't always bring them. But it really is nice. You don't have to get up too close with a match or a lighter. It's nice to have a little distance when that thing kind of blows up a little bit. And you're waiting for the fuel to kind of die down. Like, I've done this a bunch, so I kind of know when to watch this and when the fuel is almost gone, and I can light it right away. If the flame goes out, just immediately turn the fuel on and light it. The element's still hot, it'll still work. So I'm just gonna watch it here for a sec. It's again, it's just burning that fuel we let go in that cup, and it's heating up the element down there. While it's doing that, I just want to show you really quick. This is the stove repair. The nice thing about these stoves is in the field, everything's repairable. If you break this stove or your jet boil, the jet boil has a bunch of plastic parts. If you break something in the field, you're kind of in trouble. Where with the Dragonfly or the Whisper Light or a lot of these stoves, they come with these complete repair kits that are just full of parts and instructions, and basically anything that breaks here, you're able to fix out in the field. So this thing's almost ready, and I've done this enough to see like it's almost out of fuel, and I can light it. And sometimes it does this. This means the element's not hot enough, or the oxygen ratio is not right. So you just kind of give it a second. Sometimes I give it a couple of pumps. And you don't want the yellow flame. You want a nice solid blue flame. There we go. And so what's really nice about the Dragonfly versus the Whisper Light, the Whisper Light doesn't have a fine adjustment like that. The Whisper Light you adjust by tweaking this valve, maybe giving it more pressure. It's really hard to simmer or turn it all the way up. The Dragonfly, I can crank it all the way up or drop it down to simmer. So it's a really nice stove if you're doing a variety of cooking. Also, I'm going to turn it off here. It has a nice big surface here to put things on. The Whisper Light's a little smaller. If you put a big pot on it, might tip over. Here with the Dragonfly, I got a nice surface. This can be full of water. It's not as likely to fall over, which is really nice. I could also put a frying pan on here, no problem. Fry up some sausages or something. The last thing these stoves come with, and it's just good to know about, is the windshield. If there is any wind at all, it's just pulling off all your heat. And these windshields are super easy. You just throw it around there. Boom, you're ready to go. So that's the MSR Dragonfly. Again, this is the stove that I bring if there's more than 5 people, if I'm cooking anything other than just rehydrating things, if it's more than just rice and dehydrated beans, if I'm actually cooking things, I'll bring this. Or if I'm on a trip longer than a week. If international. If I'm going into another country, I just can't bring these things. So just cost-wise, really quick, as a reminder, a good jet boil, 80 to 100 bucks. It's a pretty basic stove. If you want to go with this thing, this guy's about 200, and I love using this. It's a really nice thing for simple trips. This Dragonfly, I think, is about 140, so it's less expensive than this. And if you want to save a little bit of money, the Whisper Light, which is another classic stove, it's about 100, 120 bucks. So all these are in the $100 to $200 range. But if you're just going to have one stove, I think this Dragonfly is the way to go. So if you have anything to add, please add it. I use this stove a lot, but I'm not a total expert. So please add anything in the comments below. If you have questions for me, same thing, add a comment. I'd be happy to do my best to answer it or hear your feedback. And I'll put a link to the Dragonfly in the notes at the bottom. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.